Welcome back to my studio. Today we're painting this adorable chickadee. I have a 140-pound cold pressed paper pad here. It's 100% cotton, and the first thing I'm doing is I'm sketching the little oval of the chickadee's body, the eye, the little swoop for the head, the beak, which is just a tiny triangle, a curved tail, a little swoop on the top of the head, goes right underneath the eye, and then one under the head that kind of follows the curve of the oval. The line for the branch, you don't want it to be too straight, you want it to be a little curvy, a little bit bumpy. And then for the feet, they just have the 3 talons in the front, and then the one in the back, or the 3 toes in the front and the one in the back. When I'm happy with my sketch, I lighten it with a kneaded eraser. The kneaded eraser does not harm the paper or create those little pieces of eraser that you have to brush off with your hand. So I would highly suggest one. For the top of the head and the beak and covering the eye, I'm using a color, it's just called Black by MEEDEN. It is PBK11, which is also known as lamp black. You can use any black that you would like. It doesn't have to be the same black. I'd say it's about a milk consistency. You can see it getting a bit lighter as I go. You don't want it to be full strength so that you can see the eye that we'll be putting in later. And then I rinse off my brush just a bit and then a little bit more so that I'm using mainly water to create the gray that you see on the right hand side, making little feather-like swoops then into that white of the head. The water that I've put down is then traveling also into the water or into the paint underneath the head, which creates a nice wet on wet blending effect. Then I dab the brush back into the little puddle of gray on my palette, add some more water into it, and create that tail, making sure that this wash of black or this gray is lighter than the head, lighter than the top of the head, so that the shadow that we'll add later will really show. So once you're happy with the shape of the tail and the wings, I am dabbing in a little bit more of that thicker black paint, which is blending in with a neat wet on wet effect, a soft blend into the tail, and then adding a little bit of that darker black into the wings as well. And then touching up the beak just a tiny bit. I make sure to rinse out my brush very well, dabbing it on the towel that I have to make sure I have no black still left in the brush. And then I'm going into the yellow ochre. I'm adding a bit of the scarlet red and a lot of water to make sure that it is a very, very light wash. So think tea consistency, the lightest, thinnest consistency where it's just mostly water, a little bit of paint, and you can barely see it on your paper. For the strokes, you want to make sure that they are curved, going along with the shape of your oval, making sure to leave a white area on the chest and little bits of white here and there, which gives it a fluffier, more feathery look. I then rinse out the brush very well and go into the black and make an even lighter puddle to give just a little bit of shadow onto the chickadee's cheek. Before painting in the eye with black, I rinse out my brush completely and paint a little circle where I want the eye to be, just a little bit bigger than I think the eye will be, and pick up some of that black paint with a paper towel, which leaves a bit of a lighter gray area behind. I'm then painting in, I would say maybe butter consistency, a darker consistency of the black paint in a circle for the eye. And if you would like to, you can use a little bit of masking fluid to keep a dot of white inside the eye. I didn't do that. I'm actually using a white watercolor paint, which happens to be very opaque, but you can also use a white ink or a white gouache for that little tiny dot. I'm going in with a tea consistency of the black gouache, then rinsing my brush and creating a little puddle of scarlet red, rinsing my brush again and adding in just a little bit of black. Then I add that while the branch is still wet, giving the branch almost a maroon or red glow while still being a darker color. And then adding in black right from that little black puddle that I have to give it some shading, and you can still see a bit of the red peeking through here and there as kind of an undertone to the branch. I'm picking back up some of the color by wiping my brush dry on my cloth and then soaking back up some of that paint like a sponge and wiping it back on the cloth again, and then use a bit of paper towel as well. You can soak back up color depending on the pigment. Some pigments will stain right away and it's harder to pick them back up. This black is actually a bit difficult to pick back up. I think it's pretty staining. I then go back into that scarlet red mixed with just a little bit of black, and I'm making these little tiny, they almost look like little leaves. I'm not sure their botanical name, but they look like little tiny leaves coming off of the branch. And then adding in some water to that same wash, so it's the same color combination, but I'm adding more water to it so that it's a lighter shade. I am making sure to leave little bits of white in between the petals or some of the petals, so it looks like maybe a group of flowers, and the little bits of white, your eye sees it as a reflection of the sun, little highlights. And I keep going until the bunch of flowers is as full as I would like it to be. I was looking at crabapple trees, cherry trees, plum trees to get the idea for this painting, and it's based on more of a plum tree, but you can think of cherry blossoms or apple blossoms, whatever most sparks joy for you. And then I'm mixing those same two colors, the scarlet red and a little bit of black, and dabbing them into the center of where I would think the center of the flowers would be. And then going to those little tiny leaves that are attached to the branch and painting a thin, long stem for the bud, and then almost a crescent moon shape, or maybe think of going halfway around the circle. Then a full circle or bud shape. And then rinsing some of that paint off my brush and putting little tops to those buds, but making sure to leave some white here and there so it looks like highlights from the sun. Then for the leaves, I'm using sap green and adding in a bit of the mixture of the scarlet red with a little tiny bit of black in it, the mixture that we had already made, and creating leaves that have some of that same color in them as the plum tree branch that I was looking at. The leaves had a similar red to the branch and the flowers, and I thought it tied it nicely together. But you can make your leaves as green as you want them, maybe more like a crabapple tree where the leaves are very green. The flowers are still wet, so the leaves are blending in a little bit with that pink of the flowers. Now I'm adding a bit more green to the area to make more of that same mix. So green mixed with the scarlet red that already has a little bit of black in it. And I added a little bit more green to this mixture, so you can see that leaf has a more green tone to it. Then for that space in the bottom where we didn't go all the way down to the paper's edge, I put in some more petals of flowers of the plum tree, or maybe your crabapple tree, to make it look like the tree is flowering, the branch is flowering all the way down, and that those flowers, the rest of them, are just outside of the picture frame. And then I dab in more of the paint into where I would guess the center of those flowers are. The petals are still wet and the leaves are still wet, so it is all blending very softly, wet on wet together. I then decide to add a few more leaves. So I go back into that green puddle and add just a few more little leaves to where the buds are coming from the branch. I dry off my brush a bit on the towel, as I want the brush to be more dry so that I can use the fine point of the brush in the thicker black to make the fine lines for the little tiny toes. If the brush was holding a lot of water, that paint and water could just flow off too quickly, and then the little tiny toes could turn into large toes or just black puddles on the paper or blobs. So you want to make sure to do this with just a damp brush, not a very wet brush. Or you could use a size 0 brush or size 2 round brush for the smaller details. If you feel that you need it, and I felt that I needed it on mine, is to add a little bit more of that yellow ochre and scarlet red combo. Just a very, very light tea consistency where you can barely see it wash to darken the bottom of the chickadee's belly to give it a little bit more of a 3D effect, maybe a little bit more of a realistic effect. So it looks like there is a bit of shading on the bottom of the chickadee, and also the chickadees that I was looking at online, they all had this kind of a champagne color to their feathers on their little round bellies, and then they had a very white chest. So I think it makes it look even more like a chickadee. And then this very last step, I'm using the same mixture of scarlet red with a little bit of black, mixing it well, and then very gently tapping little tiny dots towards the center of each flower. Some of the dots in the darker area and some in the lighter petal area. The flowers are completely dry, so the little dots are not blending in with the flowers underneath them. I then wipe my brush onto my cloth to remove a lot of the moisture so that I can create more controlled little lines by pulling the paint that's already in those tiny little dots and creating a little line coming from it to look like those little tiny interior parts of the flower. You can do as much or as little detail here as you want. And it's also another good time to use a size 0 brush, or maybe have a 2 round brush for these little tiny details. Or you can practice using your larger brushes with the fine tip. Maybe practice on a separate piece of paper. Practice doing those tiny details with the very point of the larger round brush tip. I'm adding just a little bit more color to the base of the buds to give them just a little bit more shading, more interest, so they look a little bit more lifelike and three-dimensional. I've really enjoyed painting with you today. Thank you so much for joining me in my studio. If you do get a chance to try out this painting, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram and share your painting with me. I love to see your work. I hope you have a wonderful day.